Hello, I want to take this opportunity to share with you some information regarding Microsoft Project Interface. And I'll be using two textbooks. That is CompTIA Project Plus and also Microsoft Project 2019. So I'll be trying to navigate through the Microsoft Project 2019 interface so that you better understand how to use the interface. So I'll be sharing that information in my second screen, and I'm trying to see whether you'll be in a position from where you stand to be able to navigate through Microsoft Project 2019. So from your screen, depending on the operating system you're using, whether you're using uh, Windows OS or you're using Mac OS, if, for instance, because the one I'll be using is a Windows operating system, at the search button, if you just write project, you'll see the icon of Microsoft Project. It's green in color. If you open that interface, you will see several kind of or several parameters or several templates that will show on your screen. For now, we might not pick either of those out of field template, but you're going to start from a blank project. So I'm going to click on the blank project, and you'll see from the screen I have two parts. There is the left side and there is the right side. The left side, this is where we are going to fill the tasks or some of the project information. And this other side, it will automatically depict the kind of milestones that we are going to achieve as we execute the tasks. So we are not having so much on this other side as part of our input, but we'll be having a lot this side because this is where we are going to put on the tasks. So before you start off the Microsoft Project interface, you're supposed to go to the back stage or maybe check what is happening at the I normally call it the kitchen, but in this case, you go to the backstage very fast, you click file, and once you click file, you go straight to maybe some information that can help you understand the project you're having. We have the home tab, we have the whether your project is new, whether you want to open an existing project. If you want some information concerning the project, you can click and you find the information about your project, the start date, today, the finish date, any date you want to your project to come to an end. If you want to save your project, you just click save, or if you want maybe to change the name under which you have saved the current project, to save as. Then if you want to print, you click the print icon there. If you want to share the project, there is the icon to share. If you want to export to get the project, maybe an existing project, you want to export and bring it maybe to a different platform, you click there. If you want to close your project, you click that button there. Then the account information. This is very imperative because sometimes we are using different versions of Microsoft Project. So if you click the account, you'll see at least I have two boxes here. One is talking about the Microsoft 365 and Office updates. So this one is telling me that updates are automatically downloaded and installed. So I'll be getting the current Microsoft Project software, the current version, anytime there is one in the market. Then about maybe the project, you'll understand I'm using version 2401 and the information is right there. Why is this important? Because sometimes you could be using a different version, and every version has got their own attributes. So this one is very critical whenever you want to work on the project. Then the last one is the options. The options gives you an opportunity to set some few parameters, like maybe the general. It will tell you like the date format, how you want the date to be formatted. You pick on the choice that you deem feel is okay with you, and also maybe some default view, whether it's Gantt chart and timeline, like now the one you're seeing on the screen. That is the default. You can still change whether you want a different default, but for now we are going to use the Gantt chart and such stuff. So then after you are through, you click OK, and that's it. So you come back to the main interface. Now you're from the backstage, now you're coming to the main interface. So Very quickly, if now you're having this interface, remember in project there are several key areas that we normally address, and I'm going to show you some shortcut on how to quickly sometimes recall those five project processes. And when you talk of project management five processes, I normally initialize them like I for initiation, P for planning, E for execution, M for monitoring and control, and the last one is project closure. So I normally recall them by stating I prefer extra money in cash. So I for initiation, prefer for planning, extra money, extra for execution, money for monitoring and control, and cash for closure. So when I say I prefer extra money in cash, that gives me the five project management processes. That is initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and control. So very fast. If I'm supposed to put, maybe I'm having the work breakdown structure, moving the new office. I just type there on top. That becomes, and you can still enlarge your those rows and columns. So my project is WBS, like work breakdown structure, moving the new office. So that is the name of my project. So under the work breakdown structure, moving the new office, sorry, the first thing I told you about the project planning, we have the five processes. I start with initiation. So I type there initiation. And then the second one is planning. And the third one is execution, the actual execution of the project. Then there is monitoring and control, checking whether the project is on track and such. So I'm typing now the main tasks. So when I type the main tasks and maybe you want to do some kind of autocorrect, you just double click the information and do the autocorrect. And then the last one is closure. So those are my five key main project processes, and these are very generic. Whether you're operating from which part of the world, these are the five project management processes. Whether you want to build a tree house, whether you want to build a super highway, whether you want to build George Bush Turnpike Highway in Texas, any given project must follow those five main tasks. So um, now we want to create some subtasks. How do we create some subtasks? You can go straight to the main task and right click and you insert a task. So this one is telling me the command is not available in this situation. So a command in micro may not be available for this particular item. So that should not worry you, but we should just go straight and use the other way of inserting a new task. So inserting a new task, you can either go to maybe the tasks on top of the project interface. And something I forgot to mention to you, when you open the project interface, this part here is called the project ribbon. It's called the ribbon, and you are seeing there are different tabs from file, task, resource, report, project, view, help, Gantt chart format, and such stuff. And when you want to get some more information, you can click here, tell me, or maybe you want to insert maybe a task. You type insert a task, and once you mention that, the task will eventually come where you're supposed to insert the task. So you see, when I type here insert the task has been inserted down here. But because now we want this task to be under initiation, I'll just do undo, and then I click like planning, because the task will be inserted at the bottom of any given project process. So if I click planning here and I type here insert um, task, um, the task will be inserted. So under initiation, I can say maybe I have the project idea, maybe a project idea, that is the moving of the office as one of them. Then I want to insert another task. I can just go straight and right click instead of maybe going to the search button. So project approval. I'm just getting this information from my head. So project approval. I'll try uh, have two tasks under any major idea. And then because initiation was one of the major tasks, so these two becomes the subtask. How do I make them subtasks? I highlight them and then I come to the ribbon and I click this icon named ident. So when I click the ident task, you see the project idea and project approval. They've been moved a little bit further inside, and initiation has become a boldened text. So this one now becomes the subtasks of initiation. That is how you create some subtasks. And something also has happened along this line. You see, I have the project duration, I have the start date, I have the finish date, and then on the Gantt chart, something also has happened. There is this date which has just popped up, February 28th. So there is this diamond box showing a milestone. So initiation has already become a milestone because already we have project idea and project approval. So let's go to planning and try do the same. Maybe insert a task for planning. We say, what kind of subtask do we undertake during planning? Maybe is after project approval, we talk of laying down um, the ideas on paper, or maybe documentation instead of just writing a lot of stuff. Documentation. So we start documenting, like putting the documentation in place. And if I click a documentation and I do a indentation, you will find planning again has been bolded because it now becomes a main task, and now documentation becomes the subtask of the planning. And again, you see something has happened. It has now become a milestone. A milestone is depicted by this diamond sign. I'll continue doing the same to execution. I can talk of execution maybe being now the uh, uh, actual running of the project. So I can talk of maybe hiring of maybe the engineers, hiring process. I can hire engineers and such stuff. So hiring, I do indentation again. And once I do indentation, execution becomes the main task and hiring becomes the subtask. So monitoring and control, what will happen at monitoring and control? Remember, these are some of the information I'm just getting from my head. But you need first of all to put them on paper before you start populating your Microsoft project, so that you don't waste a lot of time thinking. But now, because I'm doing a presentation to you, I'm just getting that information from the head. So what will happen during monitoring and control? I can say maybe photo taking or reporting. Let's say maybe field visit, because you want to go and check whether the work is going on well, whether the engineers are on the field and such stuff. So I do again indentation, and then something happened. Monitoring and controls becomes a bolden text, and then field visit becomes a subtask. Then closure. What will happen at the closure? If I insert the test, maybe we can talk of maybe report generation. We develop reports, and that's it. And then maybe we call for a stakeholders meeting to tell them about the project closure. So again, I highlight report, and remember I'm doing all these with my mouse. So I highlight report and I do indentation. So closure becomes the main task, and these two become the subtask of. So you see now, our project is taking shape, and this is exactly what is needed from you. And work breakdown structure, remember, you're trying to break down your project into manageable units. It is one of the simplest ways to execute any given project. So because our project is work breakdown structure, moving the new office, I want to make these moving new office as the main task. So I will highlight all these and I do the indentation. I click the indentation. So the moving new office, WBS moving the new office becomes now the main task, because you see it has now been boldened and it has got some information that has just popped up. So let's give it maybe a 0 days so that it appears as a milestone. You see, it's a milestone down there. So we can still enlarge these boxes. So our project is starting today, but maybe let's say the finish date will be on March 9th. So, and you see something is happening on this other side of the Gantt chart. You see there is what we call the project or the manual summary that shows the project starts today, Wednesday, and comes to an end on Sunday, March 9th. Is it on Sunday? Not sure, but from the date here is March 9th. And from this uh, calendar, it shows it's like on a Sunday. But that should not worry you, because days are depicted by some of the information that we populate on this other side. So if you keep on populating, like when do you want your project idea to take? You want your project idea to take 1 day, that's fine. A project approval, maybe 2 days, 2 days. And then starting, maybe let's say it will start today. And remember, this information you're just filling and populating from the interface, the project interface. And then documentation, let's say it will take maybe we'll start today. It will start today, but end when? Maybe tomorrow. uh, and then we go to execution. Hiring will take how many days? It can take 2 days. We start today, and then it will end on Thursday. If you put days here, automatically these cells fills automatically. So monitoring and control, let's give this one 0 days so that it becomes a milestone on this other side. And then field visit, we can do field visit for how many days? We can do field visits maybe for 3 days. And then reports will take us maybe 1 day, stakeholders meeting 1 day, and the information is already filled. So let's say maybe this will happen 1 day before the project comes to an end. That is March 8th. March 8th. Yeah. So already now we have a template. We have information at our disposal. And now this is what I was expecting when you're given this assignment. This is exactly what was expected from you. First of all, you populate the Microsoft project. And there is a way also you want to put the resource names, maybe who will be doing what. For instance, if you want to have people who will run your project, maybe the manager, the accountant, the human resource. If you want to populate these resource names, you come to the Gantt chart, this side, just a minute. You click your Gantt chart, and then you click the resource sheet, and then you have the resource sheet, and then you say maybe you need the manager, the project manager, you need the human resource, and then you need the engineer to support you. So, and then you can populate and say maybe the rate at which the engineer will be paid. You want to pay the engineer $200 per hour, $200 per hour. You want to, that's the project manager, sorry. The human resource, you want to pay them $150 per hour. Then the engineer, you want to pay them $300 per hour. So you have the resource tab with you. So if I go back to the Gantt chart, I can still get this information. So let's go back to the Gantt chart. This is how we get the information. So if I click on the resource, you'll see I have this drop-down menu. If I click the drop-down menu, I have the engineer, the human resource, and the PM. So who will be doing this job at the top level? Let's click all of them because they will be engaged at some point. If you click them, their names appear there, and something happens on the other side of the Gantt chart. You see it's now red shape, or it has got a red font. So initiation, let's say the initiation will be done by the project manager. Click project manager. Planning will be done by the human resource. And then monitoring and control, let's say it will be the engineer. And project closure all of them because they will be engaged at some point in time. So already now you have your work well outlaid and uh, well depicted. And this is exactly what I needed from the assignment of the work breakdown structure. Then, if you want to play around with these tasks or these information shared in the ribbon, you can come to view if your project has extended way beyond this surface, and then click maybe you want to view your project. And if it's not within the screen, some information will appear here, which will help you know whether the information is moving beyond this interface. Lucky enough, our project is just concentrated there, so we don't need to maybe um, come with some kind of information other than what is provided. If you want to remove this timeline on top there, you can click this button and then the timeline goes. If you want the timeline to appear, you click again and the timeline comes. So the other bit I wanted to show you is about the predecessor, the one you're seeing here. If you want maybe to show which event or which activity will come before or will precede any other subtask, you just click on the drop down menu and you'll see some information appears here. For instance, let's assume initiation, or let's assume initiation will appear before maybe project idea. If I click project idea and I click outside there, you will see some information telling us project can't link a summary task to one of his subtasks. So we cannot like link subtask with the main task. Let's pick maybe initiation will happen before planning. If I click that one, you'll see something has happened. So there will be 5 days between initiation and planning. And simply, if you just check on what is happening at the planning level, and the initiation, it shows it will take 5 days before planning is executed. Let's check on planning and see what will happen if we pick on execution and click outside. It shows like the project will take 7 days. And you can keep on doing this by filling some information like execution. Let's pick execution and monitoring. We pick closure and maybe, yeah, closure, we can just leave it like that because it's the last step, but you can pick the stakeholders meeting and click, no, we can pick closure and pick the last, but these are subtasks, so it will not work. So let's just leave it the way it is. We can put maybe a number, you can put a day, maybe manually, but if it doesn't work, you just leave it, and that will not affect our work. So if you look at our Gantt chart on this other side, the information looks somehow jumbled. So we want to make sure that this information is well spread out. So what will happen? So on my left side of my chart, you see there's some information that populated themselves when you're trying to give assignment. When you see these icons of a human shape, this shows this task has been allocated. And it is even telling us it has been over allocated. So there is an overallocation of resources, like we have the engineer, we have the human resource. But for now, this one just shows us that already the tasks have been allocated. If you check wherever there is this icon, there is the resource person on this other side. So the other thing is about these tasks. If you pick them, you see they are showing us they've been manually inserted. So we want them to be automatically scheduled. If I click auto, something changes on this other side. Some coloration takes place. So you see there was color green, but once I click auto, the color changes. So we want to make sure that everything is on auto mode. So I keep on auto, and automatically says like when the task is starting and when the task is ending. So I do this to all the activities or all the tasks just to see our project information distributed evenly. So Auto, auto. Yeah. So still we can link our projects. Like if I click project approval and initiation, I can come here and click linking of the project. I go to this part of linking and I link the project. If I click link, you'll see something is happening here because it shows the project are interrelated. So in short, that is what I wanted to present to you so that you understand the task at hand was not that complicated. So in short, I'll stop at that point so that you can try to practice by yourself and see exactly what will happen at the end of the exercise. But allow me just to take 2 minutes to show you how to generate the report. If I go straight to the ribbon and I click report and I click dashboard, maybe I want to see the project overview. This is the information that I'll get as the project report. So you see, like, the project will start on Wednesday, February 28th, and it will come to an end on March 5th. So, and I can create any report that I deem feel I want by just going back to the project report and seeing the kind of information that I really need. So that is how we organize our information, and that is exactly how Project Microsoft 2019 works. And that notwithstanding, we have covered like all the steps that are shared in this book, Microsoft Project 2019. So in short, what I've done is like trying to take you through or reading you through the entire book on how to run Microsoft Project 2019. As I keep on saying, if you need support, if you need clarification, feel free to let me know. Feel free to come back so that we can be able to navigate around and help you understand better how Project 2019 software operates. It's something exciting, it's something enjoyable if you create time and you set the right attitude to learning. Thank you so much for listening to me. As I mentioned, my name is Dr. Njeri, and I'm glad to be your instructor in this course. Thank you so much.